Hey Pokemon champions, it's Champion Darkblaze here, and welcome to the Season 3 premiere of the channel. It feels great to be back filming videos again for you guys, and there's going to be a lot of brand new content to come in Season 3. But to kick it off, I'm going to bring you guys a top 10 list regarding the top 10 legendary Pokemon you should be able to find in the Alola region. Now, Sun, Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were great Gen 7 games. However, in the first set of Gen 7 games with Sun and Moon, we were unable to capture any legendary Pokemon from the previous 6 generations, be it Lugia, Ho-Oh, Rayquaza, Zekrom, things like that. We were not able to catch them in Sun and Moon. However, with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they fixed this by giving us the Ultra Wormhole, thus allowing us to hunt our favorite legendary Pokemon. However, I just feel that this does not have the same appeal as going out into the open areas of the Pokemon world and finding these awesome legendary Pokemon, which you should be able to do. Back in Gen 4 and Platinum, you were able to go and chase down the legendary birds as they became roaming Pokemon. I wish Sun and Moon had brought this same feature back to us, as it was a really good feature in the Gen 4 game. I'm going to be discussing in this list the areas of Alola in which you can find these Pokemon, perhaps give my idea on a sort of puzzle that you can do, and give my reasoning as to why I think these certain legendary Pokemon should be able to be encountered and essentially captured in the Alola region without having to use the Ultra Wormhole. Some of these Pokemon will be found in just certain locations in the Alola region, like Wella Volcano or Mele Mele Meadow, or some should have a dedicated special episode like the Delta episode of Aura. So without any more hesitation, let's get into this list. If you are excited for Season 3 and the brand new content, be sure to leave a like on this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button down below to join the Champion Squad, and share this video with a friend so they can get in on the discussion as to what legendary Pokemon they think they should find in the Alola region. With all of that being said, here are the top 10 legendary Pokemon you should find in the Alola region.
Alright, I choose you!
So starting off this list, we're going to be taking a look at one of the overlooked fire-type Pokemon from the Sinnoh region, that being HEATRAN. HEATRAN is known as the Lava Dome Pokemon, so I think this Pokemon would be perfect to be found in the Wella Volcano area on Akala Island. Now, you could possibly even put this in Mount Lanakila, but Wella Volcano is known to be more fiery, while Lanakila is known to be more cold and icy and treacherous, as it is known as Alola's Victory Road. Now, HEATRAN I personally want to see in Gen 7. It would have been a great addition because, one, it's a legendary I don't feel gets too much love, and I feel it would just be awesome to bring back this kind of not so popular Pokemon, as the last time we really saw this Pokemon was back in Gen 5 in Black 2 and White 2, where you could get it in Reversal Mountain. Adding this Pokemon would be a nice addition to the Gen 7 games, so it would have been a good decision for Game Freak to make, as we could easily find this thing crawling around the Wella Volcano, and heck, it could even be a special event with Kiawe, as maybe you get to redo Kiawe's trial with more challenging memorization puzzles from his Marowak, and by doing so, maybe later on afterwards, a little event is triggered in where we find HEATRAN, and Kiawe can even tell you HEATRAN has been spotted at Wella Volcano. So I think that would have been a nice addition to add HEATRAN to the game. Now for the number 9 spot, I'm actually going to talk about an entire legendary trio, this being the Regi trio of REGICE, REGISTEEL, and REGIROCK. Now I'm putting all 3 at the number 9 spot because if you get one, it essentially makes sense to get the other 2 members of the trio, which means I will also be extending the number 9 spot to the trio master Regigigas. By getting all 3, it essentially makes further sense to get the master Regigigas. Now I say that these 3 are perfect for Alola because, one, they are found in the Gen 3 game, games, and they're also obtainable later in Gen 5 as well, so I feel like bringing them back another 2 generations later would make some sense. And there's locations in Alola I think perfectly suit each Regi Pokemon. For instance, Regirock would be perfect to be found in the Haina Desert. With the dry temperatures there, the blistering heat, and the nice dry rugged terrain, it would make sense to find Regirock there. To find Registeel, I imagine finding it in the well of Volcano just like HEATRAN, as it is made from magma, so maybe going deeper into the chasms of Well of Volcano would be a nice side quest to find Registeel in the postgame. As for Regice, I think it would make a bit of sense in order to find it in Mount Lanakila. With the cold temperatures and harsh environment of Mount Lanakila, especially towards the top of the mountain, it would make a whole ton of sense to find Regice there. As for finding Regigigas could be pretty much found anywhere in Alola, but I would say finding it in Reflection Cave would be a very nice touch, as it's more of a mystical and kind of cool area of the game in my opinion, and it would make a bit of sense to find it there. I think it would be a nice location to hide Regigigas in. So the Regi trio along with Regigigas will be taking the number 9 spot. At the number 8 spot is the legendary bird trio of Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. Now these Pokemon are notorious for being found in a plethora of different Pokemon games. They can be found in Pokemon Platinum as roaming Pokemon in the post game. They can also be found in the X and Y games, and they're just found in a lot of different places, and they're also very popular among the legendary Pokemon, even the Pokemon Go teams being centered around these 3 legendary Pokemon. In case you're wondering, I am Team Instinct, Zapdos all the way. But aside from that, the legendary Pokemon Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno are just really cool, and the fact that they fly would make it so that they would be obtainable in Alola, as they could fly a long distance and end up in the region. Maybe you can find Moltres at Well of Volcano 2, find Articuno at the top of Mount Lanakila, and maybe you can even find Zapdos poking around the Hokulani Observatory. And if you saw my electric trial video, you know that I even made a little reference to Zapdos, so it would make sense to find it at the observatory. Maybe a thunderstorm could occur, and that could be your little side quest battle mission against Zapdos. I think it would be a nice touch to have added the legendary birds in the Gen 7 games as well. Next up, we have a mythical Pokemon from the Sinnoh region, being the Gratitude Pokemon, SHAYMIN. SHAYMIN is a Pokemon that transforms from its land form into its sky form through the use of the Gracidea flower. This special flower being found in Sinnoh could also be found in Alola as well. If you think about it, each of the different islands of Alola have access to a special flower garden at some point on the island. Maybe unlockable in the post-game, you could possibly find a 5th special flower garden, maybe on Melemele Island or on Pony Island. You could find a special Gracidea flower garden where you can get your own Gracidea flower and have access to SHAYMIN in the postgame. Maybe you can do this after defeating Necrozma, catching all the Ultra Beasts, or doing a different side quest of some sort. And on top of it, if you go to one of the stores, I believe it's the mall, on Melemele Island, you can even buy yourself a Gracidea flower. Why would they give you a Gracidea flower if they didn't want you to be able to catch a SHAYMIN? I think that just makes a lot of sense, because if you have the flower, why not be able to get the Pokemon as well? To me, that just makes a lot of sense, so I feel that's why SHAYMIN deserved to be in the Gen 7 games. Next up, we'll be taking a look at the Unnovan mythical Pokemon, GENESECT. GENESECT is an artificial Pokemon man-made by Team Plasma and has a cannon attached to its back. Now, I say that this could be perfect to be found in the Ether Foundation lab on the artificial island of Alola. Now, I say the Ether lab specifically because it's the only place in Alola where artificial Pokemon have been created, hence Type Null. Type Null was created and experimented on at the Ether Foundation, so who's to say the Ether Foundation didn't try also experimenting with GENESECT in the past? GENESECT is also known to have multiple versions of itself in the movie with Mewtwo and Awakening. There are multiple GENESECT that exist in that movie, so who's to say the Ether Foundation didn't at one point try to experiment with their own GENESECT? You could find the remains of that GENESECT and even possibly find a new GENESECT that they have frozen away away because Lucamine's crazy and has frozen Pokemon, so I feel finding GENESECT in the Aether Foundation labs would be a great touch to finding this artificial Pokemon. Moving to the number 5 spot, we're going to take a look at the original man-made artificial Pokemon Mewtwo. Back from the Kanto region, Mewtwo is an all-powerful psychic-type Pokemon, one that has been an incredible Pokemon to defeat over the ages, and Mewtwo would have been a great addition to the Gen 7 games. It's even in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as the head of Team Rocket, Giovanni, owns a Mewtwo himself finally, and let me tell you, that battle is extremely tough to handle, but nonetheless it is doable, so I feel as though finding Mewtwo in the Aether Foundation labs, just like GENESECT and Type Null, would have been a great addition for Game Freak to do. With Mewtwo in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, what if Mewtwo fled from Giovanni's grasp and escaped its Pokeball? Its psychic power was able to destroy its Pokeball and maybe allowed itself to be free from Giovanni's clutches. So maybe it resides now in the deepest, darkest parts of the Aether Foundation lab. So then you can go and find maybe some files on Mewtwo, and who's to say the Aether Foundation didn't also experiment with Mew's DNA in the past? They could have been trying to create their own Mewtwo, stronger than the one created by Giovanni, stronger than the one you battle in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. A Mewtwo version 2? Who's to say the Aether Foundation didn't try to experiment with that? So I feel as though finding Mewtwo in the Aether Foundation lab would have been a great addition to the Gen 7 games. Moving on to number 4, we're going to talk about a duo, Palkia and DIALGA, the beings that govern time and space from the Sinnoh region. These beings would be a great addition to the Gen 7 games, as they are obtainable in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but the whole theme of time and space and dimension is a great theme throughout all of the Gen 7 games. And also, when Ultra Wormholes open up, they are essentially little rifts between dimensions, between time and space. So the more Ultra Wormholes that open up in the skies of Alola, what's to say DIALGA and Palkia couldn't slip through their own Ultra Wormhole? You know, who's to say that when one of those opens up, it causes a large enough rift in time and space that it could possibly suck in DIALGA or Palkia and have it land in the skies of Alola? Or who's to say that because all of the Ultra Beasts are opening up so many of these Ultra Wormholes, what's to say that this doesn't anger Palkia and DIALGA? It makes them angry because time and space, in the space between dimensions, is being tampered with. So this tampering with time and space and dimensions by opening these wormholes, it could anger Palkia and DIALGA, thus activating a kind of side quest or mini plot in the Gen 7 games, allowing you to access and essentially capture the beings of time and space. I think that would have been a great idea on Game Freak's part had they done it in Sun and Moon, but nonetheless it did not happen. However, I feel it would have been a great addition to the Gen 7 games as well. Starting off the top 3 portion of this list, we're going to take it the mythical Pokemon Darkrai. The pitch black Pokemon that hails from Sinnoh is a great addition, in my opinion, to the Gen 7 games. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, we were given Necrozma and given a great story centered around Necrozma. Being the Prism Pokemon, it revolves around light. It is even known as the Radiant one or the Blinding one, and it steals the light. If you look at Ultra Megalopolis, it is deprived of all natural light and only has artificial light. Ultra Necrozma's form is even radiating with immense light and immense intensity because of all of its light, and its aura is just incredibly powerful. So therefore, what if this extra darkness and this lack of light due to Necrozma stealing the light attracts Darkrai? This would be a perfect opportunity for Darkrai to force nightmares upon everyone in Ultra Megalopolis. So what if there's a side mission in the postgame where you need to travel back to Ultra Megalopolis and stop Darkrai's nasty plot? What's to say that there isn't a space version of Darkrai floating somewhere out there in space, in Ultra Space? When we go through the Ultra Wormholes in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, we're able to find all these legendary Pokemon. RAYQUAZA, Groudon, Kyogre, Giratina. We're able to find all these different legendary Pokemon, but they're in space. So what are they doing in space? The same case could go for Darkrai. You could find Darkrai out in space in Ultra Megalopolis. So by extension, addition, I feel Cresselia could also show up in Ultra Megalopolis, and you can catch these two together. You can help Cresselia stop Darkrai, catch Darkrai, and then Cresselia can befriend you. So I feel as though adding Darkrai and essentially Cresselia would have been a great addition to the whole Dark and Light theme that we're given in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. That would have been a great touch on Game Freak's part. Taking the runner-up spot is one of the best legendary Pokemon ever and one of the best Dragon-type Rayquaza. The Sky-High Pokemon Rayquaza would have been a phenomenal addition to the Gen 7 games, but yet did not appear until Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and even so is only obtainable in the Ultra Wormhole. Rayquaza would make so much sense to add into the Gen 7 games, as all the Ultra Wormholes open up above the skies of Alola. Maybe Rayquaza could feel the danger coming into the Alola region. Maybe Rayquaza can sense all of the Ultra Wormholes opening up, or maybe Rayquaza can see them opening up. When something enters Earth's atmosphere and essentially threatens Rayquaza's home, it's going to fight it, such as being the case when DEOXYS entered the atmosphere in the movie Destiny DEOXYS. So therefore, these Ultra Wormholes can open up and they could possibly threaten Rayquaza. What if Rayquaza feels threatened due to this, or just personally wants to protect the Alola region? I feel that there could be a nice episode dedicated to you and Rayquaza battling all the Ultra Beasts in Pokemon Sun and Moon and having a great tag team battle with Rayquaza maybe as well. Rayquaza fights by you as you use your Incineroar or Decidueye to fight against the Ultra Beast. I feel that would have been a great touch in Pokemon Sun and Moon if Rayquaza had been added to the games. Alright, and the Pokemon that I feel makes the most sense that you should be able to find in the Alola region is none other than the DNA Pokemon DEOXYS. DEOXYS is a fantastic candidate to be found in the Alola region as it makes the absolute most sense. First off, let's look at its species typing. It is the DNA Pokemon, and on top of it, with the lore behind DEOXYS, its design coming from DNA as well, DEOXYS is essentially a space virus that came to Earth in a meteorite. This is evident that we can see in the movie Destiny DEOXYS. By entering the atmosphere, it also threatens Rayquaza, which would give even more reason to find Rayquaza in the Alola region as well. Also, let's break down DEOXYS even more. DEOXYS, a virus from space nonetheless, and on top of it, is based around DNA. It's an abnormal Pokemon. It's a Pokemon not from this world. And honestly, that's the whole theme of the Ultra Beasts. They're not from this world. They're Pokemon essentially, but they're classified as Ultra Beasts because they're not from this world. They're something entirely different. That's also the case with DEOXYS. But yet DEOXYS is also a Pokemon. And on top of it, you can find many Pokemon in the Ultra Wormhole, such as Groudon and Kyogre. Why shouldn't DEOXYS show up? DEOXYS could even show up just because it's DEOXYS and it's coming from a meteorite, or DEOXYS could show up because of the Ultra Wormholes. What's to say DEOXYS doesn't come through an Ultra Wormhole? Like I said before, it's not from this world. So there's all the reason that DEOXYS could appear through an Ultra Wormhole, thus inviting Rayquaza to come battle it in the Alola region, thus activating a second Delta episode, I guess, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or even in Sun and Moon, and that would have been a great touch had Game Freak decided to do that. But like all the legendary Pokemon on this list, they didn't appear in Sun and Moon and only appeared in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and the Ultra Wormhole, while being a great idea, only works for certain Pokemon. I feel really only certain Pokemon should be found in the Ultra Wormhole, this being the case with DEOXYS. DEOXYS has the perfect theme, lore, and design in order to come from an Ultra Wormhole and be implemented into Sun and Moon, as the whole theme of Sun and Moon is like space and time and darkness and light. So with DEOXYS being coming from space and also being centered around DNA, DEOXYS makes the most sense to be found in the Alola region. So there we go, Pokemon champions. That is my opinion as to what the top 10 legendary Pokemon are that you should be able to find in the Alola region. Now, I'm not saying that the Ultra Wormhole was a bad idea in any means, because it was a really good idea. I liked the fact that you were able to go into these unexplored realms of space and time and, you know, go and find these legendary Pokemon and actually hunt them down. It's a lot of time-consuming effort, but is really fun in the end to get these legendary Pokemon in Ultra and Ultra Moon, as you never know which one you'll find. However, it doesn't replace the epic awesomeness that it is to unlock the mystery and puzzle surrounding a legendary Pokemon, such as with the Regi trio in Gens 3, 5, 6. It's just amazing to actually solve a puzzle, unlock the power of a legendary Pokemon, instead of just hunting it down and then it's kind of just given to you. But nonetheless, these are the Pokemon I think should be captured in Sun and Moon in various areas of the Alola region. But these are just my opinions. So what do you guys think? Which Pokemon do you think should be caught in Alola? Do you agree with my list? Not agree with my list? Be sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you feel that any of the Pokemon I mentioned shouldn't have been on my list, be sure to let me know that in the comments and let me know which Pokemon you thought should have been on the list. Anyways, with that being said, thanks so very much for watching. I'm excited for the brand new content on Season 3. If you're wondering what is going to be in Season 3, just take a look at the channel banner. It'll give you some ideas about what's to come in the future. So, with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on this video. Give it that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the Champion Squad so you don't miss out on any new videos and brand new content on Season 3 and in the future. And share this video with a friend so they can discuss the top 10 legendary Pokemon you should find in Alola as well. And with all that being said, I'll be back with another video soon, and until next time, as always, train hard, and I will catch you guys later.